Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our presentation on our NDT trade execution platform. I really think it's a special tool, and you know, we as commercial traders need every advantage we can in order to try to take money away from the institutional traders. And part of the battle also is taking money away from the other commercial traders. It's very hard to beat out the institutional guys. And the NDT trade execution platform really provides you with a significant advantage when you're trading the markets. Now, it's a patent pending tool that we've developed here at Right Line Trading. We use it for all of our trading executions. If you've been in the trading room, you've seen it in action, and I'm going to show you how it works. What I want to do first is just run through some of its functionality, just give you a little bit of an idea of how configurable it is, and then we'll start taking trades with it. Now, the first thing I want to show you about it, just give me 1 second, is this. If you right-click on any area in the gray, it brings up a whole list of things. Now, if you want to create a new NDT dome, you'll just check here. If you want the dome to always be on top, like NinjaTrader, you configure the chart, can configure a chart to be always on top. Well, it's important for the NDT to always be on top too. Also, if you take an order with the NDT, if you don't check skip order confirmation, what's going to happen is it's going to bring up a window that's going to ask you to confirm your order. And it's really just not necessary. You can also hit good until canceled. This is for managing your ATM strategies. I'm going to show you what the hotkeys are later. And when you're done, you're just going to hit Save Settings. And all the settings that you have will be done. And then when the NDT opens the following morning, if you configure it to open up in the upper right corner of your chart, that's exactly where it'll open. If it'll open in the lower corner of your chart, it will open, and will always open on top. Now, it's a tool that works in conjunction with the Superdome. It's not a tool that can work in isolation. Just want to make that clear. Now, you also have this drop-down window. Now, let's say that you're trading 3 different markets. You can do one of 2 things. You can use one dome, and when you see a trade come, say on crude, you can toggle down and move it to crude. But what I would recommend is what we do in the room. We have an NDT for each market. And you'll simply just dial in the right market right here. And we pin each one to the bottom of the chart. When the chart opens, the NDT opens right in front of us. It's really, really easy to work. Now, I'm going to show you the hotkeys. I'm just going to scroll them over. You can see it has a set of hotkeys. And if you're into Control 1, that'll give you a buy. Control 2 will give you a buy on close, and so on and so forth. So if you don't want to run right off of the NDT platform, you can run off the hotkeys. And the hotkeys are totally configurable. You can see right here in the drop-down, if you have some favorite settings that you want to use, you can modify all the hotkeys however you like. You can see you can see right behind it. Let me move this down here. There are the hotkeys, and you can really change them to anything you want. Order status, you can see right here. If the trade is flat and hasn't executed, you're going to see white right here. And I'm just going to bring the text in. If the trade executes, you're going to see filled. And the color is going to go from white, doesn't show really well here, but it's going to go from white to dark yellow. And it's going to be clear that you're filled on the trade. Now, I don't really want to go into nomenclature because it's not really important. Now, if you want to take a simple buy, actually, I'm just going to leave it right here. You just hit this button. And it's filled. And you'll notice that the chart is stamped with the NDT logo. And it tells you that you just bought a long trade. Market ticked up, and you got a market entry. And you can see it moving on the dome. Now we're going to close the trade. Now, if you want to take a sell, you're going to get, I'm going to speed this up a little bit so the logos don't overlap. Let me get the market rolling here a little bit. I'm just going to take it down. And you want to hit a sell. It just fills, it gives you a sell. This is the exact level of the sell. And it stamps the chart. And you can see it on the NDT. If only it was this easy. If you want to close the trade, hit close. And you're out of the trade. Those are just real simple functions. The buy, to market buy, market sell, and just close. You're gonna get your best price. Now, when it comes to doing more sophisticated trades, the NDT has a patent pending on many of these configurations. Now, let's say that you're trading, I'm going to change this from a range to a tick chart. And let's say you're trading a 150 tick. All right, I'm just going to have to go back and turn it back on again since I switched the chart. And one of the most difficult things, now I'll put a tick counter at the bottom. One of the most difficult things, let's say that you want to execute a trade exactly at the close of this tick candle, at the close of this candle, when the tick number hits 0. I mean, this for you is going to be a buy. Now I'm gonna let this go by, and you're gonna buy an up close. Now the trade is in. Now if the candle closes to the downside, the order is canceled. Now if the trade closes to the upside, this electronic entry will get you in as close to the candle close as possible, because the electronic order it sends out is incredibly fast. So let's wait for the tick counter to go down. Now you don't have to worry about chasing the candle. The NDT is on it for a buy on a down close. Now, if you have to rush in manually and place your order on that close, you're going to have a problem. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 ticks of slippage. Now, here we go. It was buying an up close. I'm sorry. And you see it canceled because it closed on a down close. So I'm going to take the market up. It also protects you to the downside. You don't have to worry. If you want to buy an up close, you cannot get into a down close. The tick counter is going down. And we're going to see how far off the electronic entry is from the actual candle close. It's it. We're in. Now, the candle closed at 49.70. The entry was 49.71. So you only lost one tick. Now that trade could not be placed as fast as that manually. Now it's going up because I have it formatted to go up. But you only lost one tick from the candle close, which is incredibly quick. So I'm going to close the trade. Now the same thing happens if you want to sell a down close. We're going to move the market and push it down. Now remember, if the market closes to the upside, the trade will be canceled. I mean, if this candle is going to break resistance to the downside or support to the downside, you want an entry on the close of this candle to the downside, all you've got to, you're in. Now, let's see where the candle closed. Close of the candle was 68. And actually, you got in at 67, and it's formatted one tick below the close. So it's absolutely perfect on getting you in. No slippage. And we're going to close it up. Now, the close on close is when you just want to get out of a trade. You're in a trade, and you don't care whether the candle closes to the upside or it closes to the downside. When the candle closes, you just want to get out. So you hit close on close. Now, when are you going to hit a close on a down close? Now, let's say the market is heading up really strong. Now, I'm going to move it up so it moves up really strong. And this is a tremendous way to trail a trade. Now, we're going to buy an up close. We're going to wait for the market to close to the upside. We're going to get an execution. And when we're done, I'll answer all the questions, if there are questions. Just going to wait for the candle to close. Now, I'm working with a tick. It works exactly the same on time charts, the same on Renko, the same on range. In fact, we use range bars in the trading room. And we find the NDT, I find it to be indispensable to trade. Now we're waiting for that close to the upside. Okay, we're in the trade. Now, the trade is moving up, and we're going to ride this trade until we get a reversal candle. So we're going to hit close on a down close. So as long as the trade continues to the upside, and you see we're trailing the trade by 5 ticks. That's the way we have our ATM configured. And as long as we keep going up, the market keeps going up, and we're trailing. Now, let's say before we can reach our last target, the market begins to peter out. We've already got 17 ticks locked in. Now, I didn't want it to hit the stop. What I wanted to show you is that what's going to happen is on the first candle down close, it's going to take you out of the trade. It's a loose trailing stop. And we trail the trade by 5 ticks. Obviously, on a tick chart, if you're moving to the upside, candle after candle after candle, and then you get a close to the downside to take you out, you may wind up giving up a lot. But if you trail the trade with that much room, those are the kind of trades that really can get you 25, 30, or 40 ticks. If you give them room to breathe, those are the ones that have the ability to move. So let's take a sell on a down close. We're almost there. And all of this is done really effortlessly. We don't have to worry about, I'm not going to worry about where this candle is going to close. The NDT is going to do it for me. I know I want to take a trade when the candle closes to the downside. Now, it's crazy to trade intra-candle. You know, it's like trading in the middle of the market expressing itself. And, you know, price action and market structure are really important. So you always want to close at the close, take an execution at the close of a candle. Now we're about to get in. We're in, and we're going to head down. We're going to let it take out a couple of targets. And now we're going to close on an up close. Let's let one more candle form. It's counting down. It's trailing the trade. Let me move this back all the way to here. And now you're going to get out of the trade on the first candle that closes to the upside. And this one's making up its mind. We're almost done with the candle. Now we're still in the trade because the candle closed to the downside. And we've got a lot of profit locked in already. We've got, well, I can't even toggle back far enough to see where we got into the trade. Now, if this candle closes to the upside, it's going to take you out of the trade. And this is a terrific way to trail the trade. And it's all done automatically, and it's all done electronically. Now, this candle, when it drops to 0, or it already hit our stop fill and took us out. That's because I'm moving it around and I have an ATM. But it shouldn't close until the candle closes to the upside. So now I'm going to show you a couple of more sophisticated trades. And these are the ones that really have the potential to make you money in a way that no other trading platform can. Now, the natural harmonic of most markets is that the candle provides you with the wick. So if you're going to get into a trade, and I'm going to change this back to range bars for this. Because you don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize your trade. You want to make sure. I'm going to take a 5, and we're going to change the market. Well, I'd have to open up a new chart, so I can't. So we're just going to use this one. And this is a 5 range on crude. Let me just move this down. And let me just bring this back up. Now, it's not quite the same here on a simulated data feed where I'm controlling the direction. Let me just put the direction in the middle, because if you've ever seen the ES moves with a lot of static, and what I really wanted to do was change markets, and I don't know if I can. Let's see if I can. Because we use this trade on the ES. We're going to go to strategies. We're going to re-enable. And now we're going to go from crude. Now, see, this is still reading out crude. Okay, the ATM is crude, but you see the market has changed to the E-mini, 5 range. Now, the E-mini oftentimes gives you a wick. And what you can do if you want is leverage that wick by taking a 1-tick pullback. So what happens is this. What happens is you're going to take a trade that triggers at the close of the candle right here, but it executes on a 1-tick pullback. It does that automatically and electronically, and that can't be done manually. So if this happens, let's say that your stop is 7 ticks. Your stop now is 6 ticks. Let's say your first target was 4 ticks. Now your first target becomes 5 ticks. If your second target was 5, it becomes 6. Now, if you're trading 4 contracts on the ES, each tick is to the downside is $50. So if you lose a trade on a 5-tick candle, we take a 7-tick stop, we lose $350. On a pullback, maximum loss now has been cut to $300. And the upside has been increased by a tick at every single tick level. So it provides us with an incredible advantage when we take the trades. Now, we can configure any pullback amount we want, but the greater the pullback, the more the likelihood that we may miss the trade. Now, sometimes you get really big wicks on the ES, but remember, if you get a 1-tick wick, you may or may not get a fill, because when the trade triggers at the close of the candle, you're now in for a 1-tick pullback at a market order. So it's got to fill you on that 1-tick pullback. Now, it may leave you in the dust, and it may head up without you or head down without you. But if 85% or more of your trades give you that 1-tick premium, it's worth it. because it really does cut your loss and maximize your gains. And we're going to see how that works on the ES on a 5 range. Now let's say we want to take a trade to the downside. And I'm moving it so the candle is going to move to the downside, but I don't want to move it, I don't want it to move down that hard. All right, so we're going to sell on a down close. Now the order's pending right now. It hasn't executed. We need a pullback to get an execution. If it continues down, we're not in the trade. You can see the pending on the NDT is in yellow. We have no execution yet. We must get the pullback. Now, what we do in the trading room is if the pullback doesn't come before it hits our first target and we're left in the dust, we close the trade. And this doesn't quite mimic the way the E-mini moves in real life. But I'm just going to give you an idea of what's going to happen when the trade comes back to give you the pull. Now it filled you on the 1-tick pullback. And now you're in the trade. Now, I don't have this on the ES, which is why it's not showing. So now you got to tick a premium, but it's going against us simply because I have this formatted to move in the opposite direction. So we get a tick of premium on the trade. It triggered 1 tick below the close. It executed on a pullback. That's going to make money for all of us. The downside risk is there's no wick and no entry. The upside is if we get in the trade, we're going to get in already up a tick when it hits our desired entry. And remember, the natural harmonic of the E-mini is such that it moves back and forth. It's always it's always on the bid, on the ask. It goes back and forth. It oscillates. If you try to take a 1-tick pullback on crude oil, you will oftentimes lose the trade because crude is more of a momentum market. And the E-mini is more of a rotational market. Rotates back and forth. Bid to ask, bid to ask. Crude can just blow through your entry and hit your first target before you even think about it. So you have to be careful on what markets you format a pullback. But the E-mini is a perfect market for that. Now, so is bonds and notes. They trade very similarly to the ES. And you oftentimes will get a 1-tick pullback. And remember, on bonds, it's a $31.25. It's $31.25 a tick. On notes, I believe it's $15.25 a tick, somewhere in that area. You get a 1-tick premium on the trade, and you've just created an immense amount of money. And this is the way we look to beat the institutional traders. It provides us with an edge that absolutely nobody else has, and nobody can take manually. Now, again, back to configuration, it's really, really very simple. The ATN strategy right here, ATM, that you type in simply has to be identical to the ATM on your Superdome. And it will manage the trade exactly like it does on your dome. So if we take a close on a down close, we're on the, let's see here. Oh, I can't close on a down close. I can sell on a down close. There's the pullback. That time it just happened naturally. Now we got a 1-tick premium on the trade. Right now, when we were at break even on the trade, we were up a tick. And we can close the trade. You know, wish it was this easy when we were trading in the market. Today in the trading when we made $460 on 2 trades. And it was a very, very difficult market today to get a trend trade. Configuring the whole system is extremely simple. If you go to strategies and you bring up this window, this always stays at false. This is always true. I mean, we'll configure it for you. This is enabled. Calculate on bar close is always false. All the other entries are really default settings. There's really nothing for you to do. All you have to do is bring this down into the strategies window and enable it. You can enable it on multiple markets, multiple instruments, multiple stocks, Forex, no matter what you trade. This is really going to help you, and it's going to make a big difference. Now, let me just make sure I've covered everything, and then I can really just go to questions. You know, this is not a long, complicated explanation because it's a simple tool that really yields great results. I mean, we're not talking about a trading strategy. Whatever trading strategy you use, it's going to work on. And like I said, it'll work on tick, time, Renko, range. It does not matter what you use. And a lot of people who trade range bars for some reason want to buy or sell on a close. They don't care whether the candle closes to the upside or the downside. They're just going to buy or sell it under any circumstances. Now, we still have the 1 tick configuration back, and we need it to pull back. It doesn't look like it's going to. And if it doesn't, it did. And we're now in the trade. And if it moves to the upside, it's going to move up with a tick of premium. See, right now we're actually 1 tick minus. And if you look at the NDT, not anymore, but the NDT was at break even. So let me see if there are any questions. I don't want to keep anyone longer than we need to. It's a unique tool. The trades cannot be configured in any other way. It really, really does facilitate your entries and does give you a nice 1 tick pullback premium, but you just have to be careful with which markets you use it on. You got to use it on rotational markets like bonds, notes, and the E-mini, where very commonly you get a wick. You can't use it on crude. You can't use it on gold. You can't use it on momentum markets, or when those markets pick up and fly, they just sometimes will smash through your entry and just continue without even looking back. You'll lose the trade trying to get that 1 tick premium, and that's not worth it. So let's close it up, and let me take a look at any questions that there are. Okay, there are really not many, which is good. The ATM setting that we use, James. No, these are not live trades, Tony. The market's closed. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm using the. I don't want you to think it is. I'm using the. The trade generator. It's the simulator on NDT. I'm controlling the trend right here with this tool. If we were trying to trade right now, we'd be sitting waiting around for one trade to execute for an hour. Now the ATM well, I'll explain rotational, Matthew. Our ATM settings on crude, we just changed today. And because my feeling was we were not getting enough premium on every single trade. We trade 4 contracts, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 off at 5, 1 off at 10, and 1 off at 20. Now, when 5 ticks are hit and your first 2 contracts are out, the stop moves to break even. When your second target is hit at plus 10, then the stop moves to plus 5. And from there, you trail the trade all the way up with a 5-tick trailing stop, trying to get to 20 to close out the trade before the trade comes back. But once you hit 10, it then locks in 5 ticks of profit. So if it comes right back on you, you've got a $250 trade. You've got a 100 from your first 2, 200 from your 10 tick, 5 ticks locked in on your 4th contract. So you have a $250 trade on a 10-tick crude move. And we need to be able to monetize the trade at least that well, because we're going to take $400 on a loser. And what we're going to try to do is trail that trade all the way to 20 and make, that's 200, make $400 on the trade, and have the and have 1 loss equal 1 win. And 1-to-1 is about the best you can do without really stretching out your targets, and essentially targets you're never going to hit. Thank you, James. Now, YM, I don't know if I have the YM. No, I do have it. Right here. Now you see I'm just playing with the trend. But the YM is the mini Dow. And all of these markets work just as well. We don't trade the mini Dow. We don't trade the NASDAQ simply because I can't watch more than 2 markets. The E-mini and crude are a handful. And we have a tool called the dashboard that allows me to eyeball bonds, treasury bonds, and notes. That's all I can handle. But you can get great trades off the YM and also great trades off the NASDAQ. We also have gold, which we take on our algorithmic system, but I don't trade in the trading room on a discretionary basis. Richard, you really don't have to have on the static dome proficiency with the NT static dome. Here's the thing. If you have the, I'll tell you something interesting. We used to have a price ladder on our NTD. Let me just go to strategies. And you could use it independently of the Superdome in Ninja. But because we had a price ladder underneath the NDT, NinjaTrader notified us that they felt that we were infringing on their patent. And our platform was as stable as the static dome. So by just getting the NDT, you didn't even need the static dome. You could trade the dynamic, not pay the additional for the static, and so we had to get rid of the price ladder. The last thing we wanted to do was pick a fight with NinjaTrader. But if you look at our early versions, we had a complete ladder under here, and it showed the entry, and you could move the targets, and it actually created an independent tool. Now, you still needed the dome, but you didn't have to work off the dome at all. And I think you do need to have a little bit of experience with the static dome, but it doesn't mean that the NDT doesn't make trading significantly easier. It does. It just works on Ninja, Sammy. That is correct. Now, YM is more of a momentum market than a rotational market, and I'll tell you, it's not the YM and not the Nasdaq. Sure, Sammy. I mean, in the trade room, I just call live trades. I mean, you're welcome to come into the room on a free trial. I mean, if you go to our website, and I'll show it to you in a minute. There's a lot of places there that show you that where you can come in. You can come in for 3 days and watch us trade. And you're more than welcome to come in as a guest. You'll see how I use the NDT execution platform. I mean, it's a tremendous tool that helps us trade, and you'll be able to see everything. Now, what I do is it should. Well, I'll get to you in 1 second, Matthew. Here, I'll show it to you right here. Yes. Hold on one sec. Let me just show you. Let me see how to show that. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the crude ATM. Okay? I'm just going to buy a trade. Now, I'm on, the reason it's not working is I'm on the YM. Let me just move the YM. Now, we hit 5, the stop just moved to break even. Now I'm taking the trend up, and you're going to see how the ATM works. It's going to hit 10. Now hit 10, now we're at plus 5, and it's going to trail the trade all the way by 5. So until the YM comes back 5 ticks, it's going to continue to move up, and hopefully our goal is to take out our target at 20 ticks. But we're trailing it. Once it hits 10, we get the trailer, and hopefully we hit our third target, and we're out. And that's it. That's our ATM on I'm sorry, can you see that? You can see this? I'm sorry. I didn't realize you couldn't see it. Let me do this again. I did not realize it. All right, watch. We're just going to buy an up close. Now we're filled. Now you see we have a 10-tick stop, 5 ticks, 10 ticks, and up higher is 20 ticks. Now stop is at minus 10, and here's our ATM. Hit, stops at break even. Now we're giving the trade only 5 ticks of breathing space. 10 ticks hit, and trade moves to plus 5, and is now trailing the trade by 5 ticks. Now, our goal, obviously, is to get this to go all the way to 20 without coming back 5 and taking us out. But what we want to do is lock in as much as we can. And crude will go 12, 13, 14. Every time it takes a tick up, we want our stop to move up a tick. We're at plus 5 is when it begins to trail, and we're out. If it gets to plus 8, plus 9, and it closes us out, we have almost a $300 trade. So that's our ATM for, we use Chart Trader in the room. I just don't have it enabled here because I have the dome. I mean, I'm showing you the NDT right here. At bottom of dome. Matthew, I don't really know the answer to that because Leo sets these up for us. If you need us to help you with this configuration, we'll do it for you. So don't worry about that. Jim, when we trade in the room, we always trade with Chart Trader. Open. Always. Now, that's not it. I think this is it. Maybe this is it. Data series. I don't even remember which one Chart Trader is. Now, the thing is, we can't put Chart Trader and the NDT on the same chart. Yeah, that I appreciate. But Chart Trader will not open because we're only allowed one strategy per chart. So what we do is we put the NDT on a separate chart that we don't display, and we open up Chart Trader. So Chart Trader is open on every chart that we trade. You can see the first target, the second target. You see our net equity for the trade, for the day. It's very, very transparent what we do. When we have a bad day, it's right there like a sore thumb. And when we have a good day, it's there too. No, if you open Chart Trader before the NDT, then you can't open the NDT. So what we do is we would just open a small YM chart off to the side. Remember, you don't have to see it. And we would put the NDT on that chart. And then we would open Chart Trader on the one that we're displaying with all the indicators. And that allows us to run Chart Trader. And in the trading room, what I do is as soon as the trade executes, I drag the Superdome over anyway. So you really get a dual look at the trade. You get Chart Trader here, the Superdome here, and the NDT is off to the corner. So you couldn't have more opportunities to see how the trade is evolving and where we are on every trade. And I use the dome, the Superdome, to manage the trade. So anytime I make a move on the dome, it's right, and you see it right in front of you. Yes, you need the Superdome to set up your ATM, Richard. YM is not in the algo system yet, but it's going. Matthew, I think this is going to make more money for us. We went over this over the weekend. We did multiple 2-year market replay, and this seems like it's going to make us a lot more money than what we're doing now. Here's the problem with what we're doing now. We take 3 off at 5 and then 1 off at 20. It puts me in a very difficult spot. I don't want to give back any money to the market. So when we're up 9 or 10 ticks and we need 10 more to make it to 20, and we already have 10 ticks of profit, which is a $250 trade, it puts me in a very, very difficult spot. Like, what do I do? Do I let the trade run? If I trail it on a down close, I'm going to give back 9 ticks. If I move the stop up and I choke off the trade, it may come right back and close us out only at +5. Now, taking out our third contract at +10 gives us a bridge between our first target and our third target, and allows me to stand down and not have to run in and try to manage the trade. And oftentimes, and what it's led me to do, and you can't see that on any book or record, is that I closed the trade too soon. And I wind up robbing us a profit because of my concern for locking it in. So we get 25, 30, and 40 tick moves where I've taken us out at +10, and we don't monetize it all the way. This way, we're going to have the opportunity to do that, and I don't have to worry about that component. And I believe it's really going to optimize our entries. The 1 tick pullback on the ES looks extremely good going back a year in market replay. We did it once before. It didn't work out that well because a lot of trades were leaving us in the dust. We weren't getting that 1 tick pullback. But the market is so choppy now, and it's moving on such light summertime volume, that the problem is that every trade gives us a 2 or 3 tick wick. So I think it's going to work out great. It's going to give us a lot more money on the winners and it's really going to cut our losers short. Now, there's one other thing that I did not show that I think is really important that I have to remember is key to employ. And I just want to bring this trend back so we can find it. I think I put it into the moon. Hang on one second. And this is a way to cut your losses. And it's really, really an important component of trading that is impossible to do without the NTD. I'm glad I remembered it. Now we're still connected. Let me just move it to a different market. Let me move it to crude. And I'm going to do this on every single trade. Now I don't know why I'm not getting any movement here. We are connected. I don't know why. Let's move this to CL. See, the market's not moving, but the dome is. Oh, maybe I'm not on the right edge. Nope, that's not it. See, we should be at 52. Let me try to let me try to refresh the chart. See, the chart won't refresh. Let me just try moving it to 8 range. I can describe it without showing it because it's a really important component of trading. Listen, it's real simple, but I want you to understand how effective the NTD is at helping you with this. Now, let me just bring it up. Here's the, and I have to bring this in. So, see, I don't have any of these. Hold on one second. Let me just open the NTD. And I'm telling you, this is going to save you an enormous amount of money. Now, let's say that you're in a trade. Now, the chart's not moving. I have a sell on a down close, but I think it's going to just stay pending. I don't know why I've lost the feed. Leo had to go out for a minute. So I'm just going to close it. But here's really the trade, and I'm going to show it to you, what this allows you to do. I don't know why this is malfunctioning. It's like it's stuck. Sell on a down close, and it will not close on me. Let me bring it back up. And let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's say that you're in a trade. And you decide that you're going to go long here. This is just a hypothetical. Your entry would be here, one tick above the close, right here. Now, let's say your target is here, all the way up here. So the market moves up to here. It just doesn't make it. And the candle starts to move to the downside. Now you have two options. One option is to simply arbitrarily close the trade at a market price. if you feel the trade is going to fail. The second is to let the trade come all the way back, one tick below the low of the candle, which is where our stop is, and take you out. The third option, and the one that is the most accurate way, is if you get a reversal candle before you hit a first target, you close the trade. So if you're looking to go long, like this, and you don't hit the first target, and you get a close of a trade like this to the downside, and the trade breaks one tick below, which it's going to do if the candle closes, the chances of salvaging that trade are extremely slim. If you break the low of this candle, and you're now here, this is almost a sure loser. Now, you can go into hope and pray mode, and sometimes I do that, and it's not right, because you want to be methodical, and you want to trade with a lot, methodical, and you want to trade always with market structure in mind. So when you get that break of the candle to the downside, you want to close the trade, and you want it to be automatic. So as soon, I can't drag this over, so it doesn't matter. But what you want is, as soon as you enter the trade, you hit close on a down close. You're going long. If the trade turns against you, you get a bar to the downside, and then it actually breaks the low of the bar and forms a new candle. You want to exit that trade. Now, the more the trade has gone in your direction and pulls up, the smaller your loss is going to be. And so it really, really minimizes your downside risk. And it should be done on every single trade. Technically, from a market structure standpoint, once the low of the reversal candle is broken, the trade is in free fall. Now, maybe the 15 is below. Maybe the 50 is below. Maybe for some reason you believe that support will hold. In those particular cases, maybe you'll choose not to. But I'm telling you, 95% of those trades fail. And the best thing to do is to get out of the trade at the close of a down close using the NDT. It will markedly limit your losses, protect your capital, and then when you get a nice winner, it won't be so damaging. And in this way, you will never take a full loss. Now, once in a blue moon, the trade will go back 8, go back 9, and it'll come back and become a winner. But you know what? Let it go and don't even be concerned about it, because you did the right thing. And what the right thing is, you traded the probabilities. And that's all the market is trading what's statistically appropriate. It's not always going to be the right thing to do, but all you can do is go with predictive sensitivity, specificity, predictive value, and understand that a break of the candle to the downside is almost always going to lead to catastrophe. And I've got to be much, much more rigid in doing that. And that's really going to help you with the NDT. Sure, you can, Fitzroy, you can always move your stop. But I'm telling you, in 3 years of trading, I've only moved my stop once. Absolutely, Matthew. The disconnect button is for our algorithmic system. It runs through our NDT. So if I connected this now, and here is my connect, and I hit connect on CL, every single person on the algorithmic system would go live from our server in Chicago. And if there was an appropriate trade, they would get an entry. And considering the fact that it's 5:31, I don't think we want to take a trade. So that's what that disconnect is. That's the add-on algorithmic entry setting, which I don't want to turn on at this hour and put everybody on the bubble on the algorithmic system. Now, your NDT has to be open in order for it to execute. But if a lot of people leave it up overnight, and they're going to wind up with a trade if one sets up exactly. Now, the cost, let me go to the website. The cost of the system is really small. Here's our website. And here's the free trial. If you want to get a free trial, just hit start now. It goes to the bottom. Put in your name, email address, and phone number. This is optional, and that's all you have to put in. But if you want to select a product, you just go to RLT Trading Room Futures. But you don't have to do that. Just putting your name, email address, and phone number will automatically get you the free trial. I mean, we have other things too. You can get we have a nice free indicator if you want that. You can get a free trial of the NDT, of our quant analysis system, of our indicator suite. But if you want to come into the trading room, you just hit that, and that's by default. And so it's really, really, I mean, if you come, you can get a free ebook, and this is a really good ebook. This isn't junk. I mean, I really worked hard on it. So, I mean, this is our website. On the product side, I'll show you what the cost of the NDT. It's $59 a month, which I think is pretty cheap. If it gets you a one-tick pullback on 2 or 3 trades a month off the ES, I'm telling you it pays for itself. Let me see if I can find it here. Where's the NDT? Here it is. Here's the trade execution platform. Here's the pricing. It's $50 per month. It's $1,500 lifetime. So it's really cheap on a monthly basis if you want to try it. And I'm telling you, it will make you money, and it will protect your profit. It will get you into trades with more precision, and it really will give you an edge. And we need every edge we can against all the guys that we're competing with. And it really does provide us with a nice edge. So if there are no more questions, that's how much it is, Fitzroy. It's $50 a month. Now, in all honesty, if it gives you if you're trading 8 E-mini contracts and you get a one-tick pullback on one trade, it's paid for. That's it. If you're trading 4 contracts, maybe you need 2 trades, maybe you need 3 in a whole month, and it's paid for again. If you like it and you release it month after month after month, and we have a lot of people who do, and you want to go to lifetime, you can always go to lifetime. We used to have 3 months up there. I don't know what happened to it, but 3 months was at a discount. And if you want to lease it for 3 months, just send us an email, and we'll send you a price. It's cheaper than $150, but I think it's a great tool. I really do. I wouldn't trade without it, whether I had to pay for it or I didn't. I really like it. So listen, if there are no other questions, I'm going to let everybody go. I really, really appreciate everyone everyone giving me their time. I know it's been a long day for everybody, and this is a tough business we're in, and we can make money trading every single day as long as we have incredible precision, incredible discipline, and incredible patience. That's what it takes, and we need great software. And I think we have really, really good software. We may not have the best, and we may not be the only solution, but I think we are most certainly one of the solutions. We don't sell you junk, and I couldn't sleep at night if I thought we did. And the NDT is a great ancillary tool, whether you use our software or you don't. So listen, everyone, have a really, really, thank you, Fitzroy. Everybody have a great, great evening. And I look forward to seeing everyone in the trading room if you want a free trial. Thank you too, Danny. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you in the room. Come on in, take a free trial, see how we trade. We made $460 today, and we're just going to stay focused and conservative, and that's how we're going to do it. Real simple. Okay, everybody, have a great evening. Take care, and best, whether you lease, don't lease, or whatever you do, I really wish all you guys the best of luck. I wish that we all make money. We are the little guys in this market, and I want all of us to be the ones that make the money, not the big institutional guys and not the rich commercial guys. Us, the small fry guys who trade 3, 4, 5, 6 contracts, and we need them, and we need to make a living. I mean, that's the position we're in, and that's a lot of people who use right line, and these are the people that I really, really want to make money. So all you guys have a really, really great evening, and really the best of luck. Bye-bye.